Hello and welcome to another Kalene Storytime. Today I have for you Ghosts of the Republic by William S. Frisbee Jr. They refuse to die like they are told. Ooh, spooky. Alright, dropping a little bit of a linkage there for you in the live chat. And I'm just going to jump right in today. Alrighty, Chapter 1 Network Intruder. I wanted a messy death. Something where the poor bastard cleaning up my remains would need help scraping. The sort of death where nobody knows whose blood is whose, because I went down fighting with a blade, rifle, and android constellation. Close enough to spit in your enemy's eye as they slammed the knife home. My weapons spent, my droids blasted, my knife broken. Let them see my anger and defiance fade from my eyes as I die. That's how I, Draconis Armsman Sergeant Doug Erickson, wanted to exit this miserable world. What kind of armsman wants to die while they're stuck in a VR? Death in a fantasy world is meaningless, nothing more than a switch. 1 second you're on, then permanently off, your meat suit cooling in room temperature. Until they find you and dispose of your body like rotting garbage left behind in a cheap hotel. If I died in the VR, it might not even be a line item on some executive's report. I wanted at least a whole paragraph dedicated to my demise, 2 or 3 sentences minimum. The virtual reality hell I found myself in was clean and pristine, perfect and unrealistically pretty. Lights weren't too bright. There were no nasty body odors, no overweight, panting morons who had a hard time getting dressed in the morning. This artificial world was the future people wanted, so they could let others do their thinking for them, because they lacked the mental acuity to color coordinate their socks and underwear or match their shoes. Moving down the VR corridors, there was plenty of room. In this part of Bassnet, things were more business-oriented. Trim-fit individuals dressed in business-like attire. No zombies, space shades, elves, or funny animals. Nothing that appeared dangerous or out of the ordinary here. Only a fool would underestimate the danger. None of us have a choice in how we die. I've lost too many brothers and sisters to ignore that truth. I'm an optimistic pessimist, not a naive simpleton. The pretty eye candy hid nothing from me. It just made me nervous. Thank you for choosing Rentac, a voice purred, the cheese grater slicing apart my nerves. We excel on your behalf. A trusted name, a premier solution. We are the best, so you can forget the rest. Liars. There were no obvious threats entering the lobby, but I wasn't alone in the glistening room. My software tagged several of the people as eye candy, simple constructs to make the lobby appear busier. Almost everyone was standing on a green panel in front of a display showing static to anyone not on the corresponding panel. Standard setup with people accessing the various Rentac services from within the protected Rentac VR haven. Everything is monitored and analyzed. The slightest hesitation would be flagged and assigned to an assistant, either AI or real, to make sure all needs are being met and all questions answered. Typical. Trip too many red flags, and corporate security would get notified. One person on a green mat disappeared, likely drawn further into the digital haven for more information or consultation. 2 other people came in behind me, and the room changed, adding 4 more consoles for them to use. Of the 9 people in the haven, 5 were constructs. 1 would be an obvious fake. That was expected, and it would further mask the other 4 as being constructs. Basic psychology. The corporations knew all about herd mentality. Draconis Armsmen are special operations warriors. Net running is a skill in our arsenal we work to master, even if we despise it. I was the unlucky bastard with an aptitude for it. My armsmen brothers gave me the call sign of Black Cat, because of my solitary nature, or because if I cross your path, it's bad luck. Depends on who you ask. With my squad long dead, I only worked with ghosts. The mission dump was simple. Peek into some Rentac corporate databases, retrieve flight routes, manifest ships, and crew names. I wasn't going up against a paranoid government network. This was just corporate. On an outlying station, they were even less concerned about overtrained hackers. Who kept corporate secrets out here? Who used military-grade skills and equipment to compromise local services? I was overkill, like using a plasma cannon to open a door. Who could blame them? Bast was a spacer's hub in the middle of nowhere, a real armpit station sitting near the Confederacy and some free worlds. Just one stereotypical station among several. All the personality of a mass-produced toilet in a public bathroom. My armsman brother Vendor, callsign Zap, calls these corporate networks floss and gloss. It doesn't sound too bad, except it refers to how anal the corporate types are. Pitched so tight they use anal floss to wipe with, and the gloss covers their dark, empty souls. I like his analogies. Accurate, and he doesn't pull his punches. I don't recommend the bizarre areas of VR. Spend too much time there, and sanity loses its hold. Being in virtual reality always gives me a sense of wrongness. Your body has no weight, no heartbeat, and you don't need to breathe. There's no aching shoulders or tired eyes, not even a growling stomach. A straight connection between brain and network, excluding all those things that make people real. The weak become VR addicts. I'm not one of them. I despise it. So much easier to fake smiles and concern in the VR. The entrance to the Rentag VR data stores are generic floss and gloss, and guarded by low-level ICE, Intrusion countermeasure electronics. The corporate colors of blue and green glisten on everything. Eye candy for the masses, designed to encourage trust and happiness, while disguising the deadly spring-loaded black ice, which would kill you, gently, with chainsaws, ice picks, razor blades, and salt for the wounds. You don't want customers to know you have an itchy finger and a kill button to scratch. It ruins the whole happy vibe and reveals the fake smiles and darkness in the vile hearts of executives. The data scene shimmered in front of me as I stepped on a green panel, feeding the system my false credentials that granted me temporary access. My buffer filled with Rentac supplied cargo and provided the associated rates in the node. My icon displayed a middle-aged exec. Nothing fancy or poor, about as average as possible. Exactly the corporation would expect of a small shipping firm, happy with the pathetic morsels thrown their way. Two could play the floss and gloss game. The pretty ones rarely deign to look at the less pretty. I did a quick analysis of the data exchange process. No surprises there. Standard with the latest version of software and minimal customizations. They might not have received the latest updates from corporate, but they were damned current. With my avatar putting on a show, wandering the public offerings, I could focus on the hidden traffic that most VR visitors didn't know about, watching for patterns and keywords like a hungry predator lurking in the shadows. If someone noticed me, my chances of survival would drop like a watermelon on a high-gravity world. Nick, my network intrusion computer, handled the encrypted traffic almost like plain text. A mythical AI with the personality of a turnip. It was illegal everywhere. Excelling at exploiting networks, they had no other uses. That made them very dangerous, especially to people without the resources to buy or make them. Nick isn't the most original name, but I can't give it a personality it doesn't have. Even thinking of it as him is too much sometimes. Internal and external interfaces usually shared security systems. Mixing and matching software costs money because of training and incompatibilities. Doesn't mean their software lacked in any regard, but people like shortcuts. I could tell someone attempted to harden this network, but it was a never-ending fight. The current software was limited by the encryption protocols it accepted. Security made it hard, everyone else wanted easy, and nobody wanted to pay for upgrades when they were being crushed by constantly having to change. Pirates sought the information I wanted, but no pirate had an intrusion computer or military hacker training. I wanted to hurt the corporation, not get rich off them. Burning hatred for the economic exchange kept my heart from freezing. Wasting time in the public nodes numbed my mind and made the penetration more dangerous. The ice guarding the private net held a higher resolution. With the information I had on several Rentec execs, I forged a passcode to masquerade as a new assistant. I made the request for access, then withdrew it to make a new one. Nick went to work. The repetition let Nick understand the patterns. With all the back and forth communications, I slipped crafted packets into the data stream, the code behind the visible interface. With the eyes happy, I slid deeper into the node, disappearing from the green panel. Nick's subroutines sanitized logs, removing any trace of my activity. I needed my jaunt to remain undetected. Otherwise, Rentec might replace one of their ships with a Q ship, a warship disguised as a regular merchant or a powerful escort. There were plenty of ways to ruin the ambush my brothers and sisters would set up, if I got that far. And they didn't kill me before I escaped. Attention to detail. ATD hallmark for a veteran armsman. Gliding through the data streams, Nick provided the higher-level access and data maps. Nick put me to shame with how quickly he learned the network. He had the personality and skill of a razor-edged bayonet. We shared thoughts down to a subconscious level. I was the brains, and Nick was the brawn. A winning combination from an extinct nation. Entering the shipping data node, my buffers filled with data. Smooth. Destination reached. Ghosts moved around me, oblivious to me and my presence. Classic. In a training sim, the shit would hit the fan any second now. No fake constructs here. Here, they were more restrictive with avatars because real people worked here, and nobody needed the distraction of talking to a famous porn star or a worn-covered monstrosity. A knight, faceless with armor so black it shined, pinged me with a query and verification program. Mental alarms went off like exploding grenade. Questions, thoughts, and reactions flooded my mind as adrenaline slammed through my system and my mind boosted. Most people wouldn't have known they were being pinged. But I'm not most people. He shouldn't have noticed me. How had the knight known? A random check? Not good. I would turn up negative. Did I touch a monitored file? What alarms were being raised? Millions of questions in the flash of escaping electrons. Compromised, Nick said. No shit. He would notice and analyze the alarms before I would. My icon changed to a man-cat dressed like an ancient ninja, an appearance that might catch someone by surprise and buy me a few milliseconds. The VR accelerated to faster than thought. Without meat to slow down hands, arms, legs, I thought in a higher realm. Fast twitch, slow twitch muscles couldn't match my accelerated mind. Despite appearances, icons were eye candy and symbolic. Icons meant anything that helped slower meat brains make sense of processes, programs, file locations, uplinks, data routes, and downlinks. Attacking the enemy meant disrupting or shutting down something critical, and icons helped to identify those things. A properly executed feedback loop killed the enemy, frying their brain. I've killed in the net before. It's not something I enjoy. And the security jacker wasn't worth the stain on my soul. Corporate jackers were clueless wage slaves, just doing their time, earning their pay in the easiest way they could. The Black Knight drew his sword. An eye blink. No wasted time. Shuriken shot out of my hand, slicing through his body, severing his connection to the net, and he faded, dumped from the virtual reality. Probably with a major headache, but alive, and most likely unconscious. Black Eye screamed toward me, a sound that sent chills rippling through the soul. It had been alerted the second I dumped that security jacker. Nick attacked, giving me time to regroup. I screwed up somewhere. I hated the feeling, and being dead would ruin the rest of my life. The monstrous black thing with tentacles and mouths full of razor-sharp teeth held priority over my mistakes. ICE didn't stop at net attacks, and they hit with the psychological assault. Nobody feared a pink bunny. Most civilian hackers would have crapped their pants as this mess of VR hell code came at them. Not me, though. This was a cuddly puppy compared to the vicious beasts my instructors used in training. "Starting emergency net extraction," Nick said. Such a simple-minded genius stating the obvious. More shuriken lanced out, and it lost resolution. In this case, program integrity. I slashed it with my sword, and it faded completely, like an evaporating ghost. More black ice appeared to replace it, like a video game where the enemy came at you in multiple waves. The only limit was the resources of the system. Rentak could do this all day. I dropped a zonk and a frag virus as I retreated. The zonk virus, a nasty piece of software that attacked anything around it, held the icon of a grenade. My idea. The frag virus depicted what I can only describe as an orange octopus that dissolved things around it. It rewrote anything it touched, turning everything into garbage and random pixels. The two programs used teamwork, immune to the effects of the other. In the net, it looked like a palette of watercolors splashed across the zone, preceded by bouncing grenades with smiley faces on them. I triggered an emergency extract from the net while Nick cleaned up behind me and covered my escape. Hopefully, the ice wouldn't find my meat body in time to kill me, but I expected it to. I fled the Rentak Haven, black ice pursuing me like a puppy that had its favorite chew toy stolen, with me being the favorite toy. Not a good day for a Republic armsman who is all alone. And that was Chapter 1 of Ghosts of the Republic by William S. Frisbee Jr. I have to say, this particular book holds a special place in my heart. I helped him edit it and really get it to just be like, good stuff. And with that, next week we will have The King of Sidonia by Lauren Moore and Richard Fox. Ooh, going to be good. All right, and if any of you out there want your first chapter of one of your books read, or multiple books, you can stack them up. I can get them in the line. Please send me the Amazon link. Make sure you subject it Kalene Storytime to K. Williams at nosafewordsllc.com. And I will get you in the running to be read live. Alrighty, thank you so much, Bart of Today, Leo Vaccaro, and Jay Cliff for joining me. Everyone else out there, enjoy the rest of your day, your week, your month, and as always, all the things. Peace, guys.